Fight on. Yeah, I've been waiting for this.
Welcome back to the Bottom of the Pit podcast, where we look to the moon and swap our palettes. I am, as per usual, Mick Whoopi Goldberg, and I believe today I have on, for the first time in a contained podcast, the duo of Banzai Wolfburger.
Oh yeah, Banzai in the house.
And Loboberry Crunch.
You already know what it do. It's your boy Loboberry.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the first time y'all have ever just been on a podcast, just you two together, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Twin Wolves the Food Chain finally on a podcast together.
Hell yeah. And there is no better topic to get you both on at the same time for than the one we are about to discuss today. Because we're going to finally crack it open. We've talked about this series quite a few times throughout the entire series of this podcast, but it's never had a dedicated episode, just a piece here, a piece here, there, a question here, a question there. But now we're going to sit and we're going to talk about it all episode long. And the game in question is, well, I don't even know if it'll be considered a cult classic, because a lot of people love this game and it was super popular at the time. But we are going to be talking about Bloody Roar. Now I want to ask y'all, how do you guys just feel overall about the Bloody Roar series?
Best damn game of my life, yo, to this day.
Honestly, one of my all-time favorites. As you know, I'm not really too much of a 3D arena fighter, but Bloody Roar is just that's the exception for everything.
Bloody Roar is a special game to a lot of people, especially for us, for like our generation in particular, because we grew up with Bloody Roar. It arrived when we were children, and it trucked along until we were, I'd say, like teenagers, maybe late teenagers, and then it just died, literally. Like, it's just dead now. But it kind of like formed a lot of what we loved about like fighting games and what we want in fighting games, and then it just kind of like vanished on us. And it is sad, right? Like, it is kind of a tragedy to have such a unique series just kind of go to the wayside like that.
For real.
Yeah, honestly, it's weird to see, like, because it only had there was only like 5 games, right? There was like
I think
1, 2, 3, 4, and then Primal Fury is what I remember.
And then Extreme on the Xbox.
Yeah, Bloody Roar 3 was broken up into a PS2 version, Xbox version, and GameCube version, and then 4 dropped on PS2 only, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bloody Roar Primal Fury was released as Bloody Roar Extreme, so technically it's the same game. So yeah, 5 games.
But there's only 4 numbered entries, like, technically.
Yep.
Which is honestly, I mean, that's a pretty good amount for a series to get. There's some games that are beloved that have 2 games, maybe 1. Even Marvel vs. Capcom has 4 if you count Infinite.
Yeah.
So 4 is a good amount of games to have. But still, I feel like it wasn't done yet. Like, there's so much more it could have done, and so much more it could have improved on, that I feel like it wanted to improve on, but it didn't get the chance to. How do you guys feel?
For me, you're exactly right on that. Especially like the boom fighting games has had since the time of Bloody Roar 4 and everything. Like, even if it was like around the time like a newer one came around the time like Street Fighter 4, like not even saying Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter 4 and stuff. Man, what a great game that could have been if it held to its roots and was just released around that gaming time, honestly.
Yeah, I'll piggyback on that. I agree. Like, it's really weird because like 1 and 2 were on PS1, and then 1 got re-released on PSN Network. Then 3 was on PS2, and then Primal Fury was on GameCube and Xbox, and then we got 4 on PS2. So if you look at the trend, it's like at least like with the PlayStation consoles, we got at least a minimum of like 1 to 2 every generation. And I don't know, it's like super weird that it just kind of fell off, and it would have been a great place to see that come in like around the PS3 time, you know, or even seeing PS4. We saw like a big boom again, like games like Guilty Gear made that resurgence around the PS4 era, you know what I mean?
Yeah, with Xrd. And it's a shame too, because like, I understand the reasoning, because at the time fighting games really weren't even halfway mainstream. It was kind of just like, I mean, and it still is to this day, but it was way more niche at the time where Bloody Roar was thriving than it is now. And I do feel like it would get such a warm reception nowadays compared to way back in the day.
Honestly, yeah. And going off of what you just said, McWhoopi, it's crazy too, because only up until recently, like maybe within like the last 3 or 4 years, I didn't think that many people knew about Bloody Roar. Like it felt like a random gem of a game that I happened to stumble upon, and somehow would find like a few friends who stumble upon and play it. And be like, oh man, that's why I never like people be like, yo, you're so good at Bloody Roar. And to this day, I'm like, I'm not sure how good I am, because I haven't played that many people until recently. But now I'm just discovering all over the place, like, no, people, there's a lot of people who actually played and love Bloody Roar, and it blows my mind even till this day.
I think one of the first games you and me played together, Keep, was Bloody Roar, wasn't it?
No, I don't think we still haven't played Bloody Roar against each other. We played Blaze Blue with each other, but we still haven't gone at it in Bloody Roar yet.
Who was it I played?
You know what?
That's
I know,
crazy.
right?
I swore I fought you in Bloody Roar once, because I swear I remember having a Hugo versus Hugo match with you.
No, it's never happened yet.
I don't know. Maybe I dreamed it because I really want Bloody Roar to come
He said
back.
maybe I dreamed it.
Honestly, it's one of my favorite all-time games. Like I said, I am not a Tekken fan. Like I play Tekken, but I mainly play Tekken because of like you guys. Like, if you were to ask me to play Tekken, like, you're like, oh, do you play Tekken by yourself and stuff like that? I'm like, oh, hell, no. I don't do games like that. But, like, Bloody Roar was just that exception to me. Just the mechanics, the designs of the characters alone. Like, as soon as I saw Hugo for the first time, I was like, nope, that's my main. I'm playing that. I don't care who comes out. He will forever be my main. Like, everybody looks cool. Come on. It's awesome.
Yeah, Bloody Roar was really hurting for lame designs, I think. Given the time it released, we have to take, we can't look at it in a vacuum. Fashion and shit changes over time. And but at the time it released, I feel like all their characters were pretty cool, pretty solid.
Oh, yeah. I mean, geez, looking at the roster, I mean, Shenlong, obviously Hugo, top tier. Xion,
Nagi the Spurs, yeah, awesome, yeah, we love her.
All right, well, now that topic's been soured, let's move on to the next topic.
Why did you do that?
I want to ask you guys, and I don't believe I don't know this from Lobo, but Banzai, on your debut episode, we actually talked about Bloody Roar. So I want to ask you this first, as like a refresher, because that was actually years ago at this point. As a refresher, how were you introduced to the series, and what kind of drew you to the character that you chose to play?
All right, so this will be a bit of a story, but I'll get through it as fast as possible. Because me and Bloody Roar have such a funny interaction, right? So, the first time I got my hands on Bloody Roar, I don't know what year it was, but my mom got me a PS1 for Christmas. And she bought me 3 random games for that PlayStation 1. I'm hyped because I didn't even know about the PlayStation at the time. The only game console I knew were like Super Nintendo, Sega, N64 maybe. So this was blowing my mind. And the 3 games that she got me were Crash Bandicoot 1, Micro Machines, I think V3, I think it's called, and Bloody Roar. So I played Crash Bandicoot, had a good time. Played the Micro Machines, tried it, had a good time. Then last but not least, I looked at the Bloody Roar game, popped it into the PS1. I watched the opening credits, and I'm already like floored. And then I see him, Hugo the Wolf. Even as a child, guys, I loved wolves. Like, they were my favorite animal. At the time, I had a pet wolf living with me. Like, by illegal means, yes, but I had a pet wolf. So I saw Hugo the Wolf. I picked him because he's a wolf. And just immediate click. Like, I fell in love with the character. I loved everything about him. And from that point on, it was just my main Hugo, one of my favorite main fighting games. And then after that, I never knew about release dates or even seen anything about Bloody Roar, so it would be a funny interaction. Like, me and my mom would somehow be randomly at a GameStop or some mom and dad or mom and pop's shop, and we happen to see like, oh wait, my mom would be like, Brandon, look, there's a Bloody Roar 2, and I would yell, and we'd be like, we got to get it, because my mom used to play Bloody Roar with me back in the day. She was an Alice main. She would beat my ass, actually. And then I stumbled across Bloody Roar 3 at a GameStop randomly one time, and I was like, we gotta get this. And then same with Bloody Roar 4. It was always random. I didn't know about sequels for this game ever like being published or being like talked about. I would just randomly see it and get it. And pretty much that's my story with Bloody Roar. I've been a Yugo main for all of them, and I picked up some other characters on the side, but that's me and Yugo's history.
And a storied history it is. It's funny about the sequel drops because back in the day, that's just how it was. You know, they never really advertised it on TV. Maybe you would see it like in a corner panel of a Game Informer or something, or a PlayStation magazine or something like that. But games like fighting games in general never really were like heavily advertised like that.
Yeah, you have to be like something mainstream, like even at that time, like Tekken or even Virtual Fire or Soul Calibur to be even mentioned. So, like, you weren't going to see Bloody Roar in a magazine or anything, and that just adds on to why only up until like recently, why I thought no one really knew or cared about Bloody Roar, because it feels like such an underground game to me. And I think in some ways it still is, but with a way bigger community than I thought it did.
I think you're right, and also we have to take into account that by the time Bloody Roar came and went, we still weren't really connected over the internet yet. There wasn't really any social media or anything like that. So, and if you didn't have any like local tournaments or anything for the game you were playing, then you most of the time you just played by yourself or with neighborhood friends if you had any.
Exactly.
Lobo, I'm curious about your introduction to the series.
So, my introduction actually was kind of similar, but like, so I went to GameStop with my mom for Christmas, and I'm sorry, it wasn't GameStop, it was Funkoland. That's what it was called back then, Funkoland. And basically she would take me, I would look at a couple things, and basically it was like her way of like getting Santa to get me stuff. So my mom very, very rarely bought me games. Now, I had no idea what Tekken and really, that stuff was, but I did see a copy of Tekken on the shelf, and I was like, oh, cool, this is a cool game. So my mom mistakenly bought Bloody Roar instead of Tekken. Now, at the time, obviously, I didn't know what the game was. So when I got it for Christmas, I was like, oh, cool. I was like, wait, this isn't Tekken. So my mom was like, oh, I must have bought you the wrong game. Just play that one then. And I was like, oh, all right, whatever. But when I saw the cover, I was like, huh, that looks really cool. There's a guy that has like a wolf's face on it. Popped it in. Kind of the same thing with Banzai. I saw the opening intro and I was like, oh, this is so cool. These people turn into animals. This is really cool. And I was just sold after that. I jumped on Hugo immediately. He's been my main ever since the game started. And I actually didn't get to play Bloody Roar 2. I actually ended up skipping 2 and playing 3. And then I played 2 later down the line. I think it was like, I want to say when I was in college, I ended up getting able to play 2. And then from there, I was able to play the other games because basically I ended up having to buy them online. Because I didn't, like you said, like I had no idea when these games came out. So there was I didn't have any magazines or anything like that. Or like I said, there was no internet. So we could like research it and stuff. So I didn't know sequels were even a thing for the game. But I always knew, like, I had the first game, and I was like, I love this game so much. This is so cool. I bounced around with Hugo first round. Then I played Long for a little bit. And I think I dabbled around with Byakuryuu. Is it Bakoru?
Buckaroo.
Always go off a Blade Word 2 if you don't know.
Yeah.
Bakuryu or something like that. The mole.
Yeah, Buckaroo.
I messed around with the mole. And then I think the only other character I actually played was what's his name? The dragon. Ryoho, yeah. Ryoho from 4.
Dang, he was a Ryoho main.
Hold on. I wasn't a main. I said I bounced around with him. I played him. I didn't main him. Don't do that to me. He was about to put me on blast.
Since you mentioned it, Lobo, I might as well tell people mine real quick. I main Yugo, of course. I also dabbled in Long because the machine gun punch combo was goated.
Oh yes.
And my mom's friend, who was our neighbor at one point, who gave us the wolf in my family by illegal means, by the way, was a Long main. Then I eventually got into Shenlong, and then I eventually got into Yoriko, and then eventually got into Sheena, and eventually got into Nagi and Reiji.
Ew, he said Nagi.
I
He
said
used Nagi
Nagi.
seriously.
I use Nagi seriously, bro.
Wow, that is gross.
But
I'm editing that out.
don't edit that out. Wait, no, don't let him edit that out, because Mick Whoopi, I need you to remember that there were 2 freaking Nagi players in our friendship group when we were younger.
I know.
He showed you, our other friend showed Mick Whoopi the toxic side of this character, and it's very toxic. I will not admit that. It was very toxic.
This character blows, bro.
Yeah, I showed Mick Whoopi there's people who can play her and not be a dick with her, though. And that's all, I'm going to leave it off on that.
For the record, I don't endorse the idea that Banzai Wolfburger is a Nagi main. All his opinions and thoughts are not expressed by my own. Just saying.
That's a good disclaimer. Banzai Wolfburger's opinions on Nagi are not reflective of the Bottom of the Pit podcast, and we would do well to respect the opinions and welfare of other Bloody Roar players.
Oh man, I love to play, guys. Leave me alone.
Nah, I love that. I will say, like, I used to play T a lot too. Tato. We used to play too. We had our friend Cash, who was super heavy into Bloody Roar. I think if anything, him, me, and Tato had like the biggest rivalry when it came to that game. Like, it was literally a triple threat, like all of us literally fighting back and forth with each other. We ended up actually having this fun day where he came up to visit us, and me and Tato were looking through our boxes while we were when we moved up to PA, and we were like trying to find the games, and we're like, where are the Bloody Roar games? So we ended up calling around to all the GameStops, because we know that GameStop barely had any PS2 games at the time, and one GameStop about 45 minutes away had a copy of Bloody Roar 4, still with the case and everything, and they were like, yeah, but the game is like $75, for a PS2. It's really expensive. We're like, oh yeah, no, we're getting it, we're buying it.
Worth it, yeah.
We drove all the way there, bought it, came back, and I'm pretty sure we played Bloody Roar 4 for at least about 8 hours straight.
See, that's how you do it right there.
Yep, it was. Oh man, I'd do it again. I'd still do it.
Honestly, that's a sale. I saw Blade Roar 4 on eBay one time for like $275. I was like, God damn!
Yikes. Ugh, it's not that great. But now if it was Primal Fury.
Oh,
Or Extreme.
Or Extreme, yeah. But it's interesting, Lobo, that you bring up that you skipped to, because Bloody Roar 2 was the first Bloody Roar that I played. I played Bloody Roar 1 for the first time only a couple of years ago at Banzai's old apartment.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was my first time playing Bloody Roar 1. I started on Bloody Roar 2. And that's where I was introduced to like Busuzima and Stun. Back when Stun was like the mummy pro wrestler.
Yeah,
that turned into the bug.
Skinny as hell.
Yeah, skinny
as hell.
Yeah, he's all busty now.
Busuzima.
Yeah, I loved Busuzima. I definitely gravitated towards him. for reasons that are probably not too surprising to y'all or longtime listeners of the podcast. He was green. He turned into a lizard. He had a long tongue. He could turn invisible. You know, that sounds a lot like another character that I'm literally in love with.
I wish I remembered that character. Unfortunately, I feel like they've been kind of gone from the fighting scene.
Yeah,
if only the company that makes that game would listen.
He needs to turn his invisibility off and come back to me. But Busuzima is... I think he's so cool. I always thought he was so cool the way he could stretch his limbs. He could turn invisible. He was super evasive. He had that super long tongue. And he was fucking weird and crazy. But he was also like mad evil. He was like the most heinous kind of antagonist where he didn't really have any overarching world domination plans. He was just a mad scientist and he didn't give a shit about human life. He was going to twist it in any way that he wanted, which made it ironic that I also loved playing Stun, who was his lab experiment who escaped from him.
And a man has 2 different lab experiments that technically escape from him. That's crazy.
But I thought Stun's I do like Stun's design going forward in like 3 and 4 and stuff like that. His Bloody Roar 2 design I thought was mad interesting because he had like the mummy design with like all the wraps, and he was purple. He still is purple, and he's got like the insect carapace. But he also had like these weird like shorts going on. He had a ski cap on that had some weird thing on it, like Bing Bong or something like that.
Let's not even sugarcoat it, McWhoopie. He was from the hood.
He was from the hood. Like
he was straight up from the hood.
He was definitely like from the hood, and he got kidnapped by probably Busuzima. I can't quite remember all the stories. And experimented on and turned into Stun, and I thought his design like you knew where he was coming from, and he had a fucking wife beater on, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he did.
So, and then later on they gave him more like an intricate outfit. He had like leathers and stuff, which while he looks cool, he looked more like kind of like a Nemesis a little bit actually.
Oh yeah, I feel you on that actually.
But I did like his Bloody Roar 2 design more actually, because I just thought it brought out where he came from more. Just like everyone else, like Alice, right? She's like a nurse, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yes.
And she had like her nurse's uniform as her basic uniform, or her P1 costume. And you know, Yugo's, he's got like the basic jeans shirt thing. I'm not quite sure. Was he like a biker or something?
No, Yugo's actually a professional boxer.
Okay, he is a professional boxer.
Who does kickboxing.
And the main protagonist to the
and
whole
the main
game.
protag. So that's why I go back to saying Bloody Roar's character designs I think are pretty cool. I like them a lot.
I love all of them, honestly. Even the characters who I don't use. I think I just love the designs and their alternate colors too.
Oh yeah, I feel like the Bloody Roar is one of those games that like when you swap the character palette look, everyone just still look cool.
Yeah, they didn't really have any bad colors, and I like that a lot. They put a lot of effort into it. Now I want to ask you guys this: when people think about Bloody Roar and their fondness of the series, like we're doing right now, what do you think overall, could draw people into the series, especially if they're like, say they're seeing it for the first time? In fact, what do you think is there that could like capture them and make them say, "Oh, I kind of want to put some time into this game"?
Do you want to go first, Lobo, or do you want me to go first?
I'm gonna be honest. We probably have the same answer, so you go first.
That's what I was thinking. Literally, the main target or main gimmick of Bloody Roar is what's going to draw people. The fact that your fighters who turn into freaking werewolf-like-esque creatures and fight in that form is like the dopest thing possible. And the fact that no one has actually replicated that is beyond like not only like crazy that no one has at least stolen that topic, but it makes it still that if Bloody Roar were to come back, it's like in a league of its own because no one else has really done that yet. The closest we've gotten is Killer Instinct having animal-like characters in it, or Darkstalkers, but no one else has come out with a game where you just transform midway as an animal as your main gimmick, and the fact that it has like 2 separate gauges for both forms it's just amazing, and no one's replicated it. It still has its own brand to this day. So if someone just stumbles into Bloody Roar and sees this, of course you're going to be interested. No one's going to be like, ew, transform to a animal, that's whack. The most you'll get is someone's like, oh man, that furry game. Maybe
That furry game.
Because that's how people are nowadays. They compare anything animal-like into a furry. But god damn it, most people be like, call me a furry then, because this game looks fucking dope. I doubt anybody would like legit hate it that badly to the point where they wouldn't even be somewhat interested. Out in my rant there, you got it, Lobo.
That was passionate right there. I like that. That was passionate.
I mean, he kind of spoke for me right there. I'm gonna say it's the creative design of the characters, and then this mechanic. Like he said, like no, like the only other game I feel like has like any type of like transformation sequences and stuff is going to be a Dragon Ball game at that point. And let's be real here, even like in like the Fighters game, obviously there's no transformations anymore. Well, if you go back to like Budokai Tenkaichi, you could transform obviously, but you're going into different like stages of that same character. So there's only like minor tweaks. You turn into a completely different visual character in this game. A werewolf, a rabbit, a dragon, a mole, a chameleon, a bug. Like, you know, there's so many different things, and I think that's what also draws it. And you have to remember that transformation is a fighting strategy in itself. You could just pop somebody, just roll them up, get them up against the wall, bop, 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 and then just transform. Keep that combo going. Like, the pressure that you can put on a character is just, it's just perfect. Like, being able to, like, roll up, or even just, I know, Banzai, I know you did it a couple of times, but rolling up, dashing at a character, and then transforming and, like, darting at them with the transformation, knocking them back into the wall. Like, your transformation was part of your strategy. And even if you lost on transformation, guess what? Your character can still bust ass. You can still fight. You still have hands, whether they're claws or not.
Yeah, if you don't mind me adding on to that, it shows like exactly what Lobo was talking about. Shows like how like ingenious the system of Blade War was. Even over time, it shows how genius it was. It was never broken, like having be able to transform into an animal, because you had its separate animal gauge, but it didn't make you overpowered. Like, if you had skills with the humans, you could still be the beast form, but you could get knocked out of beast form, and you could, and then eventually, like, as you grow up or like mature or like really thought, even as a kid with strategy, you learned how you could balance both the human gauge and the beast gauge. You learned how you could turn into an animal freaking mid combo, or best way to maximize when's the best time to transform to use as both an offense but also as a defense. And even now, as you play this game, you just realize, like, damn, the structure of the fighting on this game is nothing to laugh at. It's so meticulous and smart on what you can do with this goddamn game. I'm sorry, I'm banging on my desk, but oh my god, it holds up to this day. That's how solid it stands. Like, a lot of games have to switch up shit after a while, like Soul Calibur or Street Fighter or even King of Fighters. They have to switch up, if not make a brand new system to keep up with the times. But I feel like you could release a Bloody Roar game right fucking now with its old mechanics, and it will hold up so perfectly. And you have so many like different strategies, and it will really separate like the scrubs from like the pro players now. And I know pros with an updated freaking Bloody Roar will show me shit that even I wouldn't imagine, and it's just so amazing to think about.
I'm just as excited as he is. Honestly, there's nothing that holds to this, man. Like, nothing. Like you said, like every game that comes out, every fighting game that we have seen within the last few years has to reinvent itself in some shape or form. You know, whether adding new styles, it's not just dumping new characters, but new styles, new mechanics, new gameplay, you know, new meters, things like that. Like look at Tekken. Tekken for years hadn't had a super like system or like a super art system. You know, the whole super meter thing was obviously like kind of I'd say more pioneered more than anything from like a Street Fighter game. But then now look at Tekken. Now Tekken has secret arts and like these moves that like literally do that finishing blow attack. And Mortal Kombat, same thing. If you, like he said, if you put Bloody Roar out there, just redo Bloody Roar 1. Don't even like add anything. Just give us the main roster from Bloody Roar 1. Give it like some decent, like I don't even care if it's like PS5 or PS4 graphics. It could be PS3 graphics. I wouldn't care. I guarantee you, this game will get picked up and people will be like, "Wow, this is awesome!" Like there is nothing like this out there right now, nothing. And
Actually,
there's just the satisfaction of being able to just like, I'm when I play Yugo, I'm a rushdown character. I'm sorry, I'm head in, I'm going in, I'm beating you to the point where I'm breaking you through that wall, which was another thing that was the first game I ever played that allowed you to actually like beat a character so bad they break the wall and then go through the wall and ends the match.
yeah, who needs teabagging when you can just bust someone through a fucking wall? Also,
Yeah.
I'm going to also say, don't start with 1, start with 2, just because there was no beast strides in 1.
Yeah, 2 is better than 1. I mean, it should be. It's the second one, but 2 is a great place to start. There is no other series for me that I wish, like this is literally like the number 1 series that I wish I could sit and play seriously right now with like my adult brain. Like I want so badly to be able to just play Bloody Roar every day and actually get good at it, learn my characters, and fight other people, and just like run the gauntlet with it. But you know, it's trapped in old generations, no ports, no nothing.
Yeah, and it's crazy that you mentioned that too, McWhoopie, because like how Skullgirl started off with freaking Bloody Roar, all 4 of its games and the 2 spin-offs with it, was a game that had no command list. Like you had to read the pamphlet that came with the game to like learn how to do like your signature moves and your beast strides and stuff like that.
Right, but not even all of the moves. Not even all of the moves are in the pamphlet. So it's like, how do you expect us to learn all of Stun's chain grabs if they're not anywhere to be seen? You really expect us to find these by accident?
Exactly.
That's kind of what it is.
And it's crazy that you mentioned that, because until recently, when I played you at MagFest, at one of the recent MagFests that we played Roy Roy, I didn't know Stun was as heavy as a grappler as he was. Like, I've never gone against that many Stun people who use Stun before. And when you did more than like just his basic grab, I was like, oh, Stun is a grappler. I'm thinking like he has like 1 command grab and that's it. McWhoopie busting chains on me. I'm like, what the hell? It was so cool to see. And I was like, not like, I hate to use the word proud, but I was like so proud watching McWhoopie playing Stun against me. I was just like, I like crying on the inside. I was like, this is so fucking cool seeing my friends show me shit in Blade War and being good at it and having the time of their lives. Like, one of my favorite things about MagFest to this day, one of my favorite memories, is watching McWhoopie and Jamshake play the game that I talked to them up for years about and held in high regards, and they enjoy it too. Like, made me cry and sob on the inside watching them play for hours.
Bro, that makes me happy here, because you are like the Bloody Roar player. And obviously I know Lobo, you love Bloody Roar too, but like I've known Banzai for, I think we're pushing close to 2 decades at this point.
Yeah, we're getting really close to it.
And he's always been like the Bloody Roar guy. He's always been the Bloody Roar super fan, and so being able to impress like the Bloody Roar super fan, it means a lot. I'm like very happy that I could make Banzai proud of me of playing Bloody Roar like that. Now
No disrespect. I get it.
I want to ask you guys a much harder question.
Go for it.
So imagine you're seeing Bloody Roar for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
What about the game do you think would turn you away from it?
Like, this is like me seeing like it for the first time again, and what could turn me from it?
Yeah, you're seeing people play this game, and you're watching it be played. What could you possibly see in the game as it's being played that makes you go, I'm not sure if this is for me?
Lobo, I'm gonna let you take that one first because I actually got to think on that one.
Oh, you're gonna throw me under.
I'm literally trying to think of something. I'm like, damn, I can't think of anything that would make me go.
I know it's hard when you have
think-
such reverence for a series. It's hard to think of it in that way.
I guess for me, and I guess this is the only thing I can say, is that if I didn't see the beast transformations, let's say I was just seeing the people fight, and I just saw it was a 3D fight, like a 3D like move around fighter, just like Tekken. I think that would be the very, very minimal only the reason why I'd be kind of like, I don't care. But again, like that, and even so, like I mean, I've obviously gotten like over that whole like I don't play 3D fighters anymore. Like I still play them, but like I've gotten over that. But I mean, I guess that's like only minimally the only thing I can think of. Is because, like, if I didn't see the beast transformations, I would just think, oh, this is basically just Virtual Fighter or another Tekken clone or, you know, one of those kind of games. Like, it's just a clone of another 3D fighter, whatever. So I guess that. But, I mean, to me, personally, I think the character designs still look... I think they look cooler than Tekken characters. I think they look cooler than Virtual Fighter characters. So I guess that's the only real thing. If I didn't see the beast transformations or know that was a thing, that's maybe the only thing that I can think of, but that's just minimally. That's a hard question. Jeez, I can't give you anything more than that.
It is a hard question because of the time period it came out. Also, even 3D fighters at the time weren't as refined as they are now. I mean, I guess there was like Tekken 3, I suppose, that was like super duper refined and considered one of the greatest fighting games of all time. And it was, by the time I think Bloody Roar was catching its strides, I think Tekken 3 had already dropped. So I think if like you're big on like fighters, especially 3D fighters, you could see Bloody Roar and be like, this looks a little like janky in the way it moves. The balance looks off. Everyone's doing like mad weird things. The way they're moving, the damage is weird. But that's really just like that's surface level things, I'd say. If you're really looking at it with a critical eye, and that is also implying that you don't see the beast forms, because I think the concept of the beast forms is so fucking strong that if you're watching like the two humans go at it and you go, it's okay, and then they finally go beast form, you go, that's new, that's crazy, I need to reevaluate myself right now.
Big facts.
Yeah, like I'm trying not to be an over like Bloody Roar like writer, like D-writer right now. I can't really think of nothing that would dissuade me. Like if I had to be like at like to the most critical to a T person, I think the only thing that could really like dissuade me even a tiny bit if I were to be introduced to this game for the first time is maybe in the specifics of Bloody Roar 1, if no beast drive, but that's me going off of freaking having the knowledge that the other games have beast drives. So but I feel like if I stumbled upon it with no memory of freaking the rest of the games, I wouldn't care about that. And then maybe, and it's a real big maybe, me being critical as hell, maybe that not having command lists at this, because at this day and age, like it's kind of hard to be a fighting game without a command list. At least you don't want to just sit there and discover shit. So maybe in this current day and age, if I were to discover Bloody Roar and there was no command list and I had to guess at stuff, that's the closest thing I could say could dissuade me from the game even a small bit. And that's me being critical, like to the most critical. But outside of that, man, I really can't think of anything.
I could see that, especially with the beast drives. Is that what the super moves are called when you're in beast form, or is beast drive just like the beasterizer, like you just go?
Yeah, I think the specials are actually called beast drives.
Okay. When you look at 3D fighters at the time, like in the early like 2000s, when you look at 3D fighters, you know, like Tekken and Virtua Fighter, I think were maybe the only relevant ones at the time. Oh, and Dead or Alive. None of them have big super moves like that. They weren't flashy. They weren't bombastic at all. So I think that is another thing that could really like catch someone's eye, especially if they're like on the fence about it at first, because of like the graphics or whatever. The graphics, maybe they don't like the sidestep stuff is weird or something. I don't know. But they'll see the beast forms, go, that's cool, and then they'll see like the beast drives, and they're like, oh, that's really cool. Seeing this. This is fucking cool. Look at Yugo in his wolf form, just like piecing this guy up with fire fists. That's fucking tight. He hit him like 100 times, like in a row, and then he like started fucking flying and kicking him, and then he fucking slammed him. Azuna dropped him on his face.
Yes.
It's just, oh god, yeah, you got me excited. I'm like, oh, I want to play this game. I want to play it so bad.
Yeah,
It's like it's the one game that we can't
that
like
we
you said,
can't
like,
play.
It's like lost to time.
That's the tragedy. We would have to bust out like old systems in order to play. I mean, luckily I have old system. I still got my PS3, so if I can find a copy of like Bloody Roar 2, I'd be able to play it. But as far as like Bloody Roar 3 and them goes, you have to find yourself a PS2 or a working Xbox or a GameCube or Wii or something.
I think I'm looking right now. I can definitely see my my PS2 copy of Bloody Roar 4.
But one of my earliest memories of Bloody Roar, it's a cool memory. It's a positive memory. Back on the positive side of Bloody Roar, one of the coolest memories I have, and I remember it catching my attention here. I was walking through an arcade. And walking through an arcade, you know, you're inundated with sounds, all different sounds from this game, from that game. You hear Tekken going round 1, fight, round 2, fight. You hear Mortal Kombat's finish them. You hear Killer Instinct, super combo. But when you pass by the Bloody Roar 2, I believe it was, the Bloody Roar 2 cabinet, the thing that's like stuck in my head pretty strongly is like you're just walking by and you just hear Yugo the wolf versus Buckaroo the mole. You're like, what the fuck is that?
The announcer for Bloody Roar 2 is like god tier.
Yeah, and so you stop and you're like, what about the wolf? And what about a mole? And then you look and you see like the amazing artwork of the versus screen. I think Bloody Roar's versus screen is so cool. It's simple, but it works. You know, it's not just like the characters in like a box with like a versus screen plugged between them. It's artwork of the characters, of their animal. It's like, it's cool. It's really cool. They put a lot of effort into, and a lot of old fighting games I imagine would do this, into capturing your attention at any moment. A still screen, you better believe it's going to be interesting.
Facts.
Yeah. But yeah, that's like that's just like a memory that I have in my head. I just think it's cool because you look at it, when you look at the versus screens are fucking important. Because a lot of times those old games, they had long loading times. So you'll end up staring at the versus screen a lot, especially in the arcades. Because there's a high chance you'll walk by it and they'll be at the versus screen for a minute, maybe not like literally a minute, but so you have to look at it like it's the characters, Buckaroo the mole versus Yugo the wolf, or Long the tiger versus Busuzima the chameleon, and you have them there. You got the animals behind them sometimes. You got like these fucking like shit going on in the background. Maybe there's like teeth or something. I can't quite remember.
Yeah, it was like a jaw with teeth.
And it's just so cool, and you just sit there and you stare at it. You're like, damn, I want to see what this loads into. I want to see what this what this actual game is.
Could you imagine if there was no beast forms, like, and like the names were just code words, like Yugo the wolf, and he wasn't a wolf. It was just a code name he was under.
I would hate that. I would hate
that would
that
be
game.
whack as fuck.
That would be. It's like, oh, that's corny. Y'all corny for that. So I want to bring a scenario to you guys.
Yes.
Do it.
So we're watching fucking Evo or whatever. We watch all of Evo. We're at Sunday, and they're showing off all these fucking announcements, and they show, oh, here's Bloody Roar 2024 or whatever, whenever it'll probably drop in 2024. Here's Bloody Roar 2024. You know, it's, a big announcement. Maybe even some gameplay if we're fucking lucky. Now, in that announcement, what are some things that you would hope to see initially from an announcement that would get you really hyped, really excited to see, aside from the fact that Bloody Roar is back?
Well, I'll let
Listen.
you go first because I've gone first on all of them so far.
Honestly, they could give me a snippet of just a character like shadow boxing, and then all of a sudden you hear and I know you know what I'm talking about, that the ping noise when they transform, and all of a sudden you just hear something getting like ripped to shreds, and I would immediately know it's Bloody Roar, and I would lose my mind.
Oh, that would be kind of a sick trailer.
Like, think about it. You got just a character, maybe just the silhouette of their shadow, like shadow boxing, just so and everything like that. You just hear that, and all you hear is that the transformation sound, and you just hear like the punching bag now going, and it's just shredded, and then you just see the character walking away, and then all of a sudden you hear is a howl. I'm done. That's it. Where do I throw my money at? I'm buying 5 copies of the game if I have to. People are playing this with me.
For a second, Lobo,
my mind.
Lobo, I thought you weren't going to be selfish. I'm like, come on, Lobo, be selfish. You know they're going to add a howling just to confirm it.
Oh, absolutely. Because obviously it would have to be Hugo. It would have to be Hugo. So all you would just hear is, like I said, you hear that, and you hear that out of nowhere. I'd lose my mind. Even right now, I'm fucking shaking at the idea. Like, ooh, please let this be a thing. Listen, listen. They've been here. They listen to us. They listen. Here's your idea. This is how you get everybody excited. Use that shadow box. Do what I said. I know y'all listening somewhere.
Yeah, freaking. On the same thing with Lobo, I'll add on to after it goes black screen, you hear the noises. It'll probably be like a claw mark, and it'll probably say the Bloody Roar or something like that. And it can even say like, don't even guarantee like a release date. They could say coming, and I'd be like, I'm coming actually.
Thanks. Don't mind if I do.
Yeah. But honestly, they could just show a silhouette and not show Yugo. Just do that sound effect, and they already got me on board. And yeah, that's all they had to do really. Like, I wouldn't even have to know what characters are coming out. My hope would be is they bring back most of the original cast. That's like a big hope, and they don't change the gameplay. Or I'm not even going to that part because there's like some things I could say about gameplay. But yeah, they could just do a silhouette, boom, and I would just hope that has the OG characters on it and some new characters. And you already got me. You will see like the moments of Evo when you see a character like biking get dropped and you see people in the stands crying. You will see me on my knees sobbing on the floor, like holding on to my Bloody Roar tattoo on my shoulder, just like full on about to have like a breakdown of happiness from just that.
Nah, I'm with them. I'm with them on that. I think you and me would be the first ones calling each other, screaming about it.
Exactly. And if they showed us gameplay too, like even like a quick snippet, that would be amazing. Like, I can't even comprehend what it would look like. I have my own personal hopes and beliefs for it, but yeah.
I can't lie. I feel like Bloody Roar returning would kind of, I don't want to say break the internet, but as far as the FGC space goes, I feel like that would cause an uproar in a good way.
Yeah.
People be like, whoa, no way. We thought this game was done and buried. And here it is again.
Can I give a hot take?
Yeah.
I have a big hot take. I see everybody on Twitter right now are hoping at Evo Japan right now this weekend. Of the time we're recording this, Evo Japan is happening this weekend. People really want a new virtual fighter to at least be hinted at or something. I think that Bloody Roar would be better than a new virtual fighter, a new DOA, freaking even a new Soul Calibur. I think Bloody Roar would blow them out the water. I think it has better mechanics. I think it's a better game. I'm not sure if that's a hot take or not, but I think even compared to those three, especially more than DOA, And honestly, way more than DOA and Virtual Fighter. I'm going to come at Virtual Fighter Day too. Soul Calibur is a special niche. I won't come at it too much, but I think Bloody Roar would do better and be way cooler to be rebranded than all three of those games.
I agree.
Well, I do agree. I can't speak much on the Virtual Fighter crowd because they are very passionate about their series. I do agree that the crowd at large would probably pop off way more for a Bloody Roar game than a new Virtual Fighter game. And that's saying nothing about Virtual Fighter. But I just feel like the strength of Bloody Roar and what people's memories and fondness for it would trump, the Virtual Fighter fans because it's such a hardcore series. Like Virtual Fighter 6 would be for Virtual Fighter players, while Bloody Roar, well, that's a gift to the FGC as a whole.
Honestly, it would be for the Bloody Roar fans, but I feel like it would just attract such a new and maybe even bigger fan base than it's ever had before if you just saw gameplay for that. And a time where people are more accepting of like new fighting games too, because like no one really had to care about like games like DNF Duel or the Project L game that's still being worked on. Like even like most people, you would think like Project L would be pertained toward like only League of Legends players who happen to like fighting games too, but nah, Project L already has like a fan base that's waiting for it outside of just League of Legends players. Arcane helped too, but yeah, people are way more accepting and like kind of like less judgy and more hungry to try out new fighting games. Freaking Grand Blue Fantasy's doing really good right now with that update that they're doing. It's getting even more hype. So anything new fighting game wise is thriving right now because like we're in the age of fighting games now. Like it truly is the age of fighting games now.
Heavy, yes.
Big time. Every single one are doing fantastic right now. We're eating so good, which is why this is the perfect time for Bloody Roar to make a return.
Yes.
I can only imagine like if she's like what it's this Saturday, right?
Evo Japan.
No,
It's happening right now.
Oh, it's happening right now.
Yeah.
Dude, I can only imagine like losing our minds over the fact is like we just get a notification that's like new announcement. Like, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me.
Yeah, especially me because I worked this weekend. If I out of nowhere got like a message from McWhoopi and like, Banzai, you gotta check this link, I'd be like, I would know exactly what it is without him even saying it. I'd be like, no fucking. I would like, I mean, like bathroom break. I'd be like, no fucking way, he's playing with me like this.
I wouldn't even like pretend. I wouldn't even like joke just to like play with you. It's too serious. Too serious. I would never.
Yeah, if I just saw ... Ayo Banzai, and I'm like, no.
It's time.
You got a follow-up message from me being like, get online!
Right the fuck now.
I quit my job. I'd be like, I'm a Bloody Roar Twitch streamer now, and all you motherfuckers out there better follow me.
Full time. Just out of nowhere. But yeah, that's so it's safe to say that they wouldn't have to show much to get you guys super hyped and excited for Bloody Roar as far as a trailer goes or an announcement.
No.
Not really, no. Honestly, just even a hint to know that something is coming would just make me lose my mind. I feel like, and this is, I feel like there's like a lot of those games that have that like, that heavily dedicated like community of fans that even if we just get a teaser of something to come. I mean, I remember when I saw all the people losing their minds over the Budokai Tenkaichi 4 like reveal. Like, I saw the video online of Goku transforming into a Super Saiyan, and I just thought it was an update to Xenoverse, which I was like, oh, okay, cool. There's probably something coming out for Xenoverse. But then I saw the word say like a new Tenkaichi is coming, and I like is about to start, and I was like, wait, what? And there was like no gameplay. It was just literally Goku transforming. That's what I'm saying. Like, if they could give me a teaser of just the shadow of Hugo shadow boxing in a corner, and then just hearing that transformation sound and just seeing that the bag was ripped up with the howl, I'm done. That's it.
Honestly, Lobo, you kind of made me hike. Like, imagine if they decided to do exactly like the Tenkaichi trailer. Like, you've seen all this gameplay of Bloody Roar, like the old ones, and you're like, oh man, are they about to like drop all the old Bloody Roars on like Steam or something now? And then you
Cool
see
also.
you go mid punch, and then out of nowhere it turns into like Unreal Engine, like Unreal Engine Yugo, all fully graphic out. Show him do like one transformation, and then cut it off right there.
That's it.
I'm busted. Like, I'm done. I'm like, you're gonna see me do like a whole 5-mile run around my neighborhood, and I'm just like ecstatic. Like, oh, that would be so perfect. Jesus, what a good example.
I know that is probably the best trailer they could drop if there's not going to be any gameplay. Now I want to flip the script, like I did last time. Bloody Roar's making a comeback scenario. Bloody Roar making a comeback. We already got the announcement, right? We saw the announcement. We already went through all the hype stages and shit like that. So now we're thinking on it. We're talking about it. What would you change from the old games for this new installment that you feel would make it better than it was?
Banzai, you go first this time.
Okay. Let's see. I feel like this is hard for me to answer, but I'm going to just spitball things. I feel like the sidestep mechanic could be better. The grabbing mechanic could be better. I think you're good with the beast gauges how they are, including the hyper beast gauge. Cause it started off janky, but then they improved it by the next game. They could switch things up with, cause in Bloody Roar you have like this whole like command system where you do like green lightning moves, which are like armored moves. So you could like probably make a better armor move kind of system. And I don't think this was on Extreme and Primal Fury. I know it was on 4. They had like this system where certain characters, not all of them, which was weird, you could hold this button and they would do an auto dodge of every move until you let go of the button, and then it did an automatic counter attack. Get rid of that entirely.
Yeah, that's a problematic mechanic.
But outside of that, I feel like everything else, just like you just need to update it where like there's like better like things you can combo into and stuff like that. Like, it's been a while since this game was in the market, so it needs to be updated to like what can be punished and what block stuns and stuff like that. Bloody Roar doesn't have too many things like that. It just, honestly, I just feel like it just needs an update to newer fighting game styles, and it's pretty good from there. Outside the things that, like outside that auto dodging thing, I think that can be taken out completely. And sidestep doesn't need to be the back, because sidestep on Bloody Roar is like the back triggers R2 and L2. Just do it like Tekken. Just make it where you hold up and down to do your sidesteps.
I feel like that'll make it feel smoother. And I think you're right. Like it's an old game.
Mm-hmm.
Like the series is old, so all of our memories of it are a game that's pushing 20 years old at this point. I think the last game did come out 2004, 2005, maybe earlier.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe 06, maybe.
So,
The only thing I could say you could maybe do with it, which for me personally, I wouldn't care if they did. I've mentioned this on a podcast before, but if they decided to do Bloody Roar like how Skullgirls and Killer Instinct is where one character loses all their health and it goes on to the next round, and you have to knock the other person's health down for them to go into the next round, and you just keep going from there. I can see Bloody Roar doing fine with a mechanic like that. So either way, if they did it like that or didn't do it like that, I wouldn't care.
all right.
Also, it was
Logan?
2003. It was 2003.
Oh, so 20 years ago this year.
Yep.
Jesus.
So
that,
it is
makes
a
me, that makes
20.
me sad.
The last game in Bloody Roar dropped 20 years ago.
I was in middle school. Jesus.
Holy shit. So yeah, it is kind of a product of its time. Also, have to keep that into account. Do you have anything to add, Lobo?
I feel like he kind of touched all the points I would need to hit. I mean, refine the combat maybe a little bit more, because obviously now we're gonna have smoothed out characters, so like, you know, no polygons, no blocky people, so obviously smooth it out a little bit more. I feel like he kind of hit everything that needed to be hit. I would just say, just don't deviate too much from what the game is core at. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want them, like, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but like, I wouldn't want them to do something where they go a little too extreme with it, where they go, oh, we'll have like a super move for humans and a super move for the animal. Like, that I feel it could end up making certain situations a little unbalanced. Make sure certain characters like have that balancing, because, you know, obviously back in the day, the only balancing we would ever get really would be the next game, because there was no like updates and things that we could do to be like, all right, here's a patch to fix this. It was literally like, okay, so this character was way too overpowered in this game, or this character had too much health or whatever in this game. The next game we're gonna have to fix that. You know what I mean? So, but I really don't feel like there's anything additionally. The game itself, I think, even as a start, would be just fine.
And again, on how smart Blade War was for its mechanics at the time, freaking on hit or even on block, if you attempted a beast drive on Blade Roar, no matter if you hit it or it got blocked, you went into human form, so it was already fair in that regard. So you definitely shouldn't add a beast drive or a human drive to them. Outside of updates, I feel like the biggest thing, because I just thought about this as Lobo was talking, is just improve on the characters and their moves more. Like for instance, make make Stun a true grappler if that's what you want him to be. Give him like a bunch of more crazy grabs and chain grabs. Make it where Yugo's boxing shines more and he can combo into things better. Like, make him have like a freaking, because he's technically a kickboxer, but his kicks were weak. Make him have it where he has like a kick that goes down to like a rear leg kick that if it hits, or if you charge it and it hits, it cripples the person or puts them in block stun, stuff like that. Like, really make the characters unique outside of like just their beast form. Really get the human's personality too.
That's important. Especially for a character like Yugo, like you said, he's a boxer. I think he should have a couple of sways also.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, he had like a stance where he dodges and then goes into like a rapid punch mode, and it was weirdly weird and hard to get out of once you got into it. So yeah, just up. Like, I feel like if you just really like have a team that's like updates Blade Roar, gives them some of their own moves, but really like put like attention to detail into some of their moves, that's probably the most thing you could really work on. Just give the humans more personality and like make their attacks like really like personal to them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
with that,
because I mean, like, obviously, like it's funny because I actually have the wiki pulled up for like the character like descriptions, and it says like Hugo, he's hot-headed, you know, but he has heroic tendencies. He's upbeat, brave. So like, add that in, like, kind of like, you know, show that like main character protagonistic attitude. And then you got characters like Shenlong, who it says here he's very cold, collected, very calculated, doesn't shy away from the idea of spilling blood if need be. So like, obviously let's see that, like, that yin and yang to those characters, you know, and definitely like let us see more of the personal interactions that certain characters clearly have with those other characters, you know? Like, this is a real good chance to bring a lot of these characters more to life. And that's saying a lot, again, for a game that literally has characters that transform into little, like, were animals. But, like, bring those characters, their human sides, to life more. But then maybe allow those beast forms to kind of, like, teeter on that, like, ability to hold on to themselves. Obviously, like with Hugo being a werewolf, you know, it's like, let's see that like primal fury start to kind of take control of that like brave, upbeat, like, no, I'm gonna be a good guy. Like, maybe he struggles with keeping that control. Or even for a character like Long, maybe he has control of both sides of himself and he's able to keep that like that more vicious tone when he turns into the tiger. You know what I mean? Like, this is a really good chance to take characters to that next level.
Ooh, I just saw a really good update actually. From you that description. This game is literally called Bloody Roar. We've had people who transfer into animals and claw at you. No way, no shape. Do not make it on MK levels of like blood, guts, and stuff. But keep showing the blood, because even in Endgame there was like a mechanic you could turn the blood off if you want to keep that, sure. But show blood, show battle progression, like show like some of these characters got clawed up, black-eyed, beat up. Like make that a thing, because I'm not sure. I don't remember Bloody Roar ever having something like that.
No.
But yeah,
No,
show
that's
that
a
these
new
characters are getting beat up on. Show that they're getting sliced up and stuff because they just fought. They're fighting a freaking wolf, a lion, a bat, a tiger. Like, show some damage progression throughout the game.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
Yeah, that's a good idea, honestly. Especially now that most fighting games are now doing some form of battle damage.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, actually. I like that. I like that a whole lot. So it seems like it needs mostly just like more polish to get it to where the standard of fighting games are nowadays.
20 years worth of polish.
20 years worth of polish. Yeah, I mean he's not wrong. This isn't like polishing Tekken 7 to Tekken 8. This is 20 years. The last game was 20 years ago, and Bloody Roar 4 was not well received compared to Bloody Roar 3. So they have a lot they need to fix if they want to make it presentable and beloved again. I know. I'm not saying you're wrong for liking Bloody Roar 4. I'm just stating cold hard facts here.
Yeah.
So as far as things that need to be changed, there's not much that we can really say just because of how long ago the last entry was. It's just like, just bring it back, keep all the core tenets. But would you guys want to keep the way the beast modes are handled exactly the same, or would you want to try to update that as well?
For me personally, that's another either or. You can either keep it the same way how it is, or honestly, touching back on a previous podcast where I mentioned this, and also putting a pin on how Lobo says he does not like Tekken. We got revealed of a lot of stuff with Tekken 8 recently. The heat system, in particular, you could do like a beast system, just like how Tekken does their heat system with Bloody Roar. And honestly, that's another reason why I think the Tekken developers would actually do a really good job at making a new Bloody Roar. I've said this on a previous podcast. I think the Killer Instinct people or the Tekken devs could make a really good Bloody Roar. And especially after all this stuff we've seen this week alone with Tekken 8, I will fully be like, yo, let them handle a new Bloody Roar, honestly. Their system mechanics that they're doing with the new one, how characters interact with each other, how it looks like it's going to have a good story and stuff. Everything about Tekken 8, I wish for a new Bloody Roar, honestly.
Yeah, that's that'll be pretty exciting to see. And it's like an idea I think would be interesting would be if they made a system where you could transform into your beast and then manually transform back. Cause I was just thinking about like what a gameplay flow of a new Bloody Roar could look like, and with the system like that. And especially if the playstyles for the beast forms have some different movesets compared to the human forms. Just imagine you're doing a string with Hugo, and he does into like an uppercut that launches, and then mid combo, like during that uppercut, you can like cancel into a beast drive or a beast rise, and then continue the string with some claw swipes, bam, 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 and then maybe go back to human form to finish it with something like that, something flashy, something crazy like that. Just an idea.
So kind of like EX moves, but with the beast forms.
Kinda. I mean, you wouldn't in my head, like you wouldn't be forced to go back to your human form. You could if you wanted to continue your combo, but the beast form would obviously be stronger and just better than the human form, just because it's your beast form.
Yeah, and then you could give benefits to it to like make it where if you go back to your human form, it recovers your beast gauge, and if you went for that combo again, but your beast gauge is higher, it makes it more powerful or more vicious, stuff like that.
Yeah, or something like that. Because the original game already had stuff like that, if I remember it
Yeah.
correctly.
Yeah, it had mid combo strings.
Yeah.
But in the case of the scenario you presented, they made it where you did stuff like that, but it has benefits on why you want to be human. Because in Bloody Roar, like outside of, like just like the pride of wanting to prove that you can fight in human form, there's no benefit of really being in human form. Your work is to have your beast gauge filled up as much as possible, so you can pop it whenever you want. There's like no, if you could add like a benefit of wanting to be in human form in Bloody Roar, that could be a very interesting mechanic too.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think they should, if they were to make a new one, pursue something like that, a good balance. Because you won't always have access to your beast form, so you need to be able to hold your own as a human form, and the game's got to let you be able to hold your own. So I want to close out our discussion with one last set of questions, I'll say.
Okay.
So Bloody Roar is coming back. Only character we have confirmed right now is Yugo the Wolf because of the trailer that was posited by Loboberry Crunch. Speculating on the roster, which character or characters, a small handful that you guys can think of, would you want to see return?
Lobo, do you want to do like a back and forth real quick, like name a character, then I'd name a character, like do a rapid fire?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
All right, you go first.
I've Shenlong, 100%. Gotta get the tiger back in.
Shenlong over Long?
I don't know. I think that I like cause wasn't Shen a clone?
Yes.
He was a clone. So I think that if anything, it would be cool. I mean, they could always include like both characters. Maybe one's a DLC character. Like maybe he's a DLC character later on. I don't know. I think I would just like to see the original characters appear first before we get like any clones or like variations of those characters. You know what I mean?
So would you want Long back instead then?
I would want Shenlong first.
You want Shenlong first?
Well, Shen wasn't Shin was the
Shen's the clone.
Shenlong is the clone.
I thought Shen was the clone.
No,
Long,
Shenlong is the clone of Long, if I'm
yeah, Long's the
understanding.
tiger, uses punches. He's been in since Bloody Roar 1. Shenlong is the clone who got introduced, who uses kicks instead of punches. He's the evil.
No,
He's literally an evil clone.
So yeah, I would say him first then. Yeah, maybe I'm just mixing up the name of the characters, but yeah, no, I'd want him first.
Okay, so Long. And right off of that, I would say Gato, bring the lion back. Have both the big cats back.
Gato and Long. I mean, you gotta have the tiger and the lion. Yeah, that makes sense.
You gotta have like the three most main popular beasts, animal kingdom people back: wolf, lion, tiger.
Bakuryu, give me my mole man.
You
Yeah,
have
I
to bring
think
Bakuryu back.
Yeah, he's like a stable character.
Alice, you have to return
Alice, yeah, she's the Chun-Li of the series.
Stun,
Of course.
Stun.
Yeah, Sun's made a good name for himself.
Yeah, he's the grappler of the series. They literally have none aside from him.
I know it's like a joke between all of us, but with all the like speculations about G from freaking Street Fighter, I kind of want them to bring Greg the Gorilla back.
I think they should too, because you don't have a gorilla in your animal game. Like, you gotta have Greg the Gorilla.
I feel like you gotta have Greg the Gorilla.
Yeah, you need a gorilla in your animal game.
Or at least a new gorilla character.
You need a gorilla in your animal game more than you need a second tiger.
Yes. Or a leopard.
Jenny
Jenny
the Bat, yeah.
Jenny the Bat. Give the Batgirl back.
Mhm.
You always need that one slut character.
Slut character, oh my god. The eye candy, we'll say.
How many characters are we at right now? Because base rosters are so like small nowadays.
I feel like we're only missing
like 4 each so far. No, wait, I went first. I did 4. Because
yeah.
I did Long. No, wait, no, I did 3. because yeah, I said Jenny was third. So yeah, so I'm at 3. You're at what, 2?
Is that Gato and Alice?
Yeah. So who's next?
Honestly, Busuzima's such a good design. You might as well add Busuzima back in too.
I mean, he's a bad guy. You gotta have the bad guy as character.
Like at this point, let's not add any like the clone characters like Sheena or freaking Koryu.
This might be a hot take, but I don't think Sheena should come back in this installment. I don't think we need a third Big Cat.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. The only other character who I'm like half divided on for that very reason is Yuriko.
See, she's small cat.
She's small cat, but also she was the original.
She's
Uranus.
a half beast, technically a half beast.
She is a
she's
half
not
beast.
Full cat.
I think
know?
on Extreme though they made her full cat actually.
Yeah, Yuriko
I
the
don't
cat
know.
in 4, but that's 4. If this is like, unless this is Bloody Roar 5, I don't know. We don't got to break into that. But I think I would be okay seeing Yuriko come back because she's like small cat.
Yeah, and honestly, I wouldn't mind if they just gave her like a whole new redesign because she's a very confusing character. She was Uranus before Uranus, then they made her a brand new character and brought Uranus in. Like, honestly, I would like to just see them do like a rebrand for her. I wouldn't mind her staying Alice's sister.
I think she should just be the cat. I don't think she needs to be like any scientific experiment. I don't even know what her story is.
Yeah, it's very cloudy. I like the base thing that she's Alice's sister. She could be just a cat. We already said Bukoryu. I would like it to stay that he's like Yugo's adopted little brother. But yeah, I said Busuzima last. Anybody else you want to add in, Lobo, or you think we're good where we are?
Did we say Hans?
Who?
Hans the Fox.
Oh, that's his name?
I thought his name was just
I
Fox.
wouldn't mind Hans the Fox. I just didn't even know what his name was.
Yeah, I was going to say him next, but I thought his name was literally just Fox.
Wait, I thought Hans was a girl.
No, it's a male.
No,
It's a male.
Yeah,
is it a poison? It's a poison situation, isn't it?
No, it's just a male.
Yeah, no. It's like one of the biggest things about Bloody Roar. Me and Mick Whoopi joke about this all the time. Bloody Roar 1, that was your first Haku experience, not Haku.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why. Yeah. I mean,
Oh yeah, his
I
name
was a
is
kid
Fox.
when this came out, so yeah, Hans.
Yeah,
Hans, wow, you remembered his name. That's crazy.
yeah, his name is Fox or Hans Haberman. That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Well,
yeah,
I also learned that it's obviously a dude now. So
No,
I'm just gonna
like
say
if
it.
you look at his pictures, he almost looks like a girl, but when you look at him closely, you're like, oh no, you can full on see it. It's harder to tell with Bloody Roar 1 pixel character frames, but when you look at the official artwork of it, you can tell it's hard, especially like he's packed up, like he's muscular as hell. They kind of almost look like bosoms, but
I'm only gonna say this. I thought he was kind of like a China situation where he was like a chick that was just really buff.
Nope.
no.
But I think Hans the Fox is a great choice, to be honest
Yeah.
with you.
I think Fox would be a great choice. I'm glad you got to learn something new from this, also, Lobo. Because I love Fox. I would keep Fox's design the same too. Maybe like more like a better top. Maybe I don't think it's too revealing. I just think it's kind of like cheesy.
There is no better time to be Hans the Fox than right now.
Exactly, and that's just base roster. Outside of that, like excluding DLC, I would like to see like them make 3 brand new characters outside of what we just mentioned.
I brought this up last time when I talked to Lobo about this, but we need a bear.
I was literally just getting ready to say that.
Like you said, all like the main animals of the animal kingdom. You said wolf, lion, and tiger. I'm like, yes, you're right, but you're missing a key figure in there, and that's a fucking bear.
No, I was literally getting ready to make that joke too. Like lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my.
We need a bear, and
we could get a little weird with it. Get a shark in there.
A shark. I think a shark would be cool and interesting. It'd be interesting to see them implement a shark, but I think a shark would be cool.
I think maybe they've never done a bear just because like Tekken has like what 2 to 3.
2.
So like maybe that's why they never did a bear, because that maybe around that time they were trying to shy away from looking like Tekken clones for certain things like that. Maybe
I can see that, and I can see that at the time. But times have changed, and I'm ready to see the bear.
Yeah, and
'cause
plus he
Tekken
wouldn't
also
be
has
like
a boxing kangaroo, so
plus he
True.
wouldn't be like straight on a bear. He would be like I kind of like humanoid bear to a certain extent. So he would be a bit different than Kuma and Panda. And the cool thing with Bloody Roar is because you have the different color palettes, you can have like a grizzly bear as one palette, a panda bear as the next color palette, polar bear
a
as the
black
next color
bear,
palette.
polar bear, yeah.
Yeah, bear would be such a perfect add-on. Freaking
Make it a small character that turns into a bear.
That would be good. I like that. idea.
Let's play on that trope and make it like this tiny little like scrawny person, and they just turn into this giant hulking bear.
Yeah,
I think that would be way more interesting than having a big giant man turn into a bear.
Yeah, I love that idea. But yeah, I would love to see some new characters, even if we like retcon some things and like let's say we don't have Alice and Yoriko's mom in, but we have a brand new character in who's in as the boar, or someone new, and we can bring in from Primal Fury, we can bring in Kronos, who was the penguin who could also turn to a phoenix. That's still a good idea to me. But
I don't know. I feel like Kronos should just be the phoenix, because penguins are just fucking hard to make in a fighting game because they have flippers and no legs.
Don't let Jamshake hear you say this.
They don't got no legs. They don't got no legs. They got feet, and then it's their torso.
He just walks around slapping you with his flippers.
I think the phoenix is way cooler for Kronos to turn into than the penguin.
His words, not mine, Jamshake.
So what we can do is maybe he has like a special move where he summons a penguin to slap you.
Maybe like a fusion dance thing where if you fuck it up, you turn into the penguin. But if you get it right, you turn into the phoenix instead.
I'm about it.
But yeah, outside like wanting new characters or rebranding characters, I think the up to 9 characters we said so far for base roster, I think will be really good for a rebrand.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what we say now. But if they said Bloody Roar 2024 is coming out and we're starting with 9 characters, I will be upset. So
yeah. Well, I think they would just be good like as like the older characters to come in.
Right. And then we would probably get. I think Raiji the Crow should return.
Oh
so.
yeah, look, Raiji, die quietly, you filth. Yes, bring my boy back.
Yeah, I think he would make for, because we don't got any birds aside from the aforementioned like Phoenix character.
Nagi?
No.
Actually, as an actual serious question, would either of you two want Xion the Unborn to come back or drop him completely?
I go back and forth on that so much. I think he clashes so hard. He's so edgy. At the time, he was cool. It was the cool thing at the time. But I think he is outdated as fuck.
I think that what they could do is, if they're going to bring him back, make him like a boss character, maybe. So he's not playable at first, and then maybe make him like a DLC, like one of the like first or last add-ons to the game that you could just get later on. But I don't think he should be like an initial like first character you get right away.
And how about this as an idea for Xion? Uriko is the cat and Xion is the chimera.
That's a good idea, honestly. Also, an idea I also had. I like the idea of having, if Xion was to be in game either as the Unborn or a Chimera, definitely make him DLC. I say go off the Ryoho vibe and let's have a boss character, but instead of a dragon, we make him a dinosaur.
Oh, a dinosaur?
Like a T-Rex ass.
Oh, that's interesting.
a
T-Rex, damn.
I feel like a T-Rex is more of a beast, let alone a boss character beast than a dragon.
That's interesting. That's interesting for sure. A T-Rex, because I mean, Lobo is not wrong. They do got some tiny arms.
Yeah, and he doesn't even have to be maybe even a playable character. Make him just the arcade boss, just like how freaking Boss Mode Naguriyuki's out there not playable. Just give us a ridiculous arcade boss character, honestly.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he could just be a boss character for like the arcade or maybe like the story or something like that, and he just gets added on later in a DLC patch or something like that. Like, he doesn't need to
something.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be like a legitimate character to play. Like, obviously, we played fighting games throughout the years, and we've always had those characters that are like the boss character that eventually just gets unlocked somehow, but it wasn't originally. Like Tekken, think of all the boss characters we've had from Tekken that are eventually just fighters that they just get like that are mowed down. Like, you know, Mortal Kombat, we have obviously, you know, Shinnok and Shao Kahn. So like I could see it. Just don't make him like a main roster, like start out, like, you know, just make him like a DLC pass. That's it.
We love our zone tropes.
Now, I want to ask you this: which characters do you not want to see return, excluding Nagi, because I will not discuss her at all on this podcast?
I was about to say, don't you say her name. Don't you do it.
I wasn't going to say her name for not coming back. Of course I want her to come back. What are you talking about?
I said we're not discussing Nagi on this podcast.
A character to not return.
Oh, man.
Honestly, if we're not talking about Nagi, I know we were talking about him being DLC or stuff, but I could definitely see like not bringing Xion back. I think I love like the sort of kind of clone characters like Sheena the Leopard, who, even though she was like almost a mirror character of Gato, still has more personality and fits the game better. Or Koryu the Iron Mole. For me, it would be between Xion and Koryu the Iron Mole. Koryu was not needed. He's technically Buckaroo, but Buckaroo from Blade War 1. So I say either retcon and get rid of Koryu the Mole, never bring him back, or Xion.
I think those are good choices. What about you, Lobo?
I mean, I think I've already had someone go ahead and say who I don't want to come back.
Got you.
I think we don't need to discuss it anymore. But
I
don't really have anybody I hate in this game. I don't think there's anybody I really don't like. I mean,
that's true, and the roster's not huge either.
Yeah, I think maybe just anybody. I don't want to say that because I have to agree with Banzai when it comes to Sheena. I mean, I do like her as like for what she is, but at the same time, like I've always been a very big like I don't like clone characters in games that take up spots for characters that are like more unique.
Yeah, but outside of like two moves, she wasn't really a clone of Gato. She was so counter based.
Oh no, I'm talking like in general.
Yeah.
In general, at all. That's what I mean. Like, I really don't have anything that I could say. I would just say like just no clone characters and no Naga, no.
I think I know who McWhoopi's going to say.
Oh yeah.
I think so.
I am going to say Ryoho.
Yep.
I don't think Ryoho should come back. For obvious reasons. He was just a fucking giant dragon. So dumb. But talking on Sheena, I know Sheena's a lot of people's Bloody Roar waifus. So that's already like a hard sell. If she doesn't show up, that would definitely make people turn their heads. So I think maybe they should change her animal from a leopard to something else. There's a lot of animals that didn't get touched on. We literally don't have like a dog, like an actual just like dog.
What about a panther?
Dog. A panther's another big cat.
Well, I was just saying, if you want to just if she's not gonna come back as a leopard, I mean, she could come back as
no. I don't want another big cat.
Oh, you don't want? Okay,
I don't want no more big cat. We got two big cats. We have the big cats already. We don't need these like B tier big cats now.
I'm like 50-50 on your answer, McWhoopi, because I completely understand it and I agree with you to a certain extent. But just like how you said, freaking. She's like Bloody Roar's waifu, and also like I was talking about way earlier in the podcast when I said furry bait. I feel like something about seeing a female leopard gets those people just like, I'm not a furry, but
yeah,
like the whole Lola Bunny effect.
Yeah, and I see that, but we don't need a lesser big cat after we have 2, and if they do bring in Shenlong 3, we don't need more big cats. I think I said this last time me and Lobo talked about it. We have the lion, we have a tiger, we have a second tiger, we have a leopard, and we have a regular house cat, which I said was fine. So we already had, like in like this current age, we already have 4 big cats and 1 canine.
Honestly, if we go off the list that we had so far, it would make it balanced. If we had Gato, Long the tiger, and then we made Yuriko just a cat. Then if we had Yugo the wolf, then we had Hans the fox, and then if there was just a dog character, that would balance it out.
Yeah, just a regular like dog to match. Yeah. Maybe it could be like a rival to Yuriko, who is the house cat, a best friend of Yuriko, or just an enemy of your. I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna have your house cat, you should probably have a domesticated like dog type.
Now, can I add on to your answer, Kay, just to see your opinion on it?
Yeah.
So you don't want Ryoho the dragon to come back, right?
Yeah, I don't.
Now, would you want like how they did with Ryoho and Mana, where Ryoho was the main fighter, and then his partner could transform into like an animal, like an actual animal kind of state, and like fight like Kiba from like Clash of Ninjas kind of deal? Would you want that kind of thing?
See, that's more interesting. That's more interesting. And with my answer, I'm going to separate the concept that you put forth from the characters, because I find Ryoho and the Mana, I find them to be so boring and dull. But the concept of having like the fighter you control and a partner who is the actual zoanthrope, I think is really interesting. I'd be on board for something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be on board for something like that.
Lovely answer, honestly. Case of Bloody Roar fan, yay.
I like Bloody Roar. I think Bloody Roar is it's a cool ass series. It's a cool series. It's not a series that I had ample opportunity to really dig into. I had Primal Fury. I owned Primal Fury, and me and the Jamaican Shake played it a lot. We played it a lot. We played a lot of Primal Fury. But we were also children playing Primal Fury. And like I said earlier, I want so bad to play it now, in this brain space. And I just haven't had that chance. And I want to really badly.
And it makes me so happy to see other people like this, because I'm like the advocator who comes up to your house at random annoying times throughout the day, knocking on your door saying, have you heard about my Lord and Savior Bloody Roar? Here's a pamphlet that explains to you all about Bloody Roar. That's how I feel about this game, and when I see people love what I love, it just gets me so like hype, jazz. Like, I love it. I love the series. Love it so much.
Big facts.
It was nice listening to you guys. I don't want to say rant. What's the word? There's a better word. Gush. Yeah,
Gush.
yeah, that's the word. Gush about Bloody Roar, because it's such a rare feeling to have such a passion for something that could bring you to that space. You know, everyone's got something they're passionate to talk about, but to hear someone talk about it is very fun and very wholesome.
Yeah, it makes me so happy.
100%.
It's truly like, I think Lobo probably like is in the same boat as me, so I feel like I'm speaking for both of us. To a certain extent, we're good at fighting games. We'll play against like you and like Jam Shake and stuff, and we can do like fairly decent, but we don't feel like we're as good as you guys or anything. Bloody Roar is truly like the one game that, as much as we try to be humble and like stuff, and we don't talk trash or anything like that, it's the one fighting game that I feel like we both feel like is our fighting game. We feel good on it. We don't doubt ourselves on it. It's like if we lose, good game, but most of the time, like you're not gonna go into Bloody Roar thinking you're going to lose. It truly feels like it's our fighting game. If you don't mind me speaking for both of us, Lobo.
No, I can agree with that. Like, there's so much that like comes out like there are a lot of games like even in our like initial core of friends, like obviously everyone has like their game that's like their niche or like they're like, oh man, I know I'm that good at that game. I'm gonna be honest with you, I actually forgot how great I play at Street Fighter 4, and it's like just the fact that when I was playing with you what was it, last year at the con, we'll be like it was such a good back and forth because it was just fun. And I think for me, like I have those games that I enjoy, but there's just that, like he said, there's just that one game that just sets you apart from everything else, and you just wish more than anything for it to either return or get some type of love again, and it will always be Bloody Roar for me. I want this game to come back so bad, and think about like we were talking about, we named our our 9 initial like characters we would love to see return as like the main roster first, but think of like how far things have come since then. Think of all the animals that we could use that were not used back then. Like obviously we only really have like one bug character in Stun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can go think about all the other animals, like maybe take him from just being the insect into like the beetle or something like that, and then you got like, you know, you got a wasp or a bee, or you know, then you can go into like the, you know, the other realm of like spiders and
yeah,
crabs.
but then you know we getting the spider before
Yeah.
we're getting the bee.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like there's so many things like sea animals, and fucking we don't really have that many bird characters either. Like we really only have the Phoenix. That's it.
And
And
Raging as well.
Raging.
Oh yeah. But that's what I'm saying. There's just not a lot. Now that you look back at it, and it's like, look how far we can go with these characters. Because I can tell you right now, they can at least come up with at least maybe 3 or 4 new original characters in a new title with no problem.
And just to end off my sentiment on all this, I think this really sums up the podcast for me in general, especially going off of my last statement. Again, I never got to play that many people in Bloody Roar. I thought no one really knew about it. I thought it was like a diamond in the rough. So when I hear from like someone like Mick Whoopi or Jam Shake, when they saw me play Bloody Roar, and they truly were like, Banzai, you're really good at this game. Like, not even trying to be nice to you. You're freaking really good. And to this day, I haven't played that many people, so I don't know how to stack against other people. So it'll be so fun to play against other people on Bloody Roar Online, just to see if I could like break top 100 Yugos of all time on this Bloody Roar game. Like getting compliments from getting compliments from someone like Mick Whoopi or Jam Shake saying, "Yo, you're really good at this game." Like I look forward to watching you play because you look good in this game. Makes like it like a special little spot in my heart anytime I hear stuff like that, because I truly love this game. I strive to be great at it, and to hear that people actually think I'm really am good with this character who I love with such a passion, this game series I love with passion, just means the world to me. So that kind of just sums up everything on the podcast for me right there.
Could have said it better myself.
Right, that was beautiful. That was beautiful, Banzai.
I got a tear in my eye.
Thanks.
But it's clear to me just how much you two adore this game. You guys adore this. You guys look at Bloody Roar the same way I look at Killer Instinct. Like, it's literally perfect. Even when I was asking you what was wrong with it, y'all struggled to do that because fuck you, Mick Whoopi. This game is perfect and there's nothing wrong with it no matter what. I get it. I totally understand your reverence.
And imagine the best of both worlds if we got like a Killer Instinct developed game for Bloody Roar for all 3 of us. Like, it would be the best of both worlds.
Facts.
It really would be. Yeah, you know, that's I'm tapped out of questions. But the floor is yours if you want to add anything.
Bloody Roar is my child. I love this game. Tattooed on my arm. Bring it back one day. You will make so much money from it. Like, there's nothing stopping you guys. Well, because I think the ownership is finally. I'm not sure if people can buy it now or not, but even if you had to, please buy it. It'll be so much worth your time, developers. Get Bloody Roar back into the main screen. It's such you do nothing but gain from it. Do it.
I love it. Damn, man, how do I follow up with that? Sheesh. I really don't have anything to follow up with. I mean, he kind of summed it up in the best way possible.
Egg with me.
This game has to come back. This game has to come back. There's no reason why this game should be vaulted for as long as it's been. I mean, it was what Activision and Konami were the publishers, right?
Hudson, which is now Whoopi, I'm not sure. I know Jamshake knows the question to this, and it started off as Hudson. I'm not sure what they are now, but I feel like Activision or someone has the rights to them.
Yeah, I'm
Hudson
not
is a branch off of
100%
Konami,
sure.
so Konami technically. So,
Okay.
so, but I mean, come on.
Yes.
There's if you like this if you wanted to pick a time to revive this game and get a fan base just to explode out of it, now is the time. We got Tenkaichi coming back. We've got all we got brand new Tekken. You know, like you said, we're eating this year. We're eating. Look at all the shit that's coming out. This is the perfect time. Also with the new console generations, like come on. This is the time to bring this game into the light, let people jump on this shit, get online, throw some hands and some claws.
And it's a 20-year anniversary.
Perfect.
Come on.
And it is its 20-year anniversary.
Man.
Is there even a better time to drop a trailer than like the 20-year anniversary of the last game?
Yeah, get that Virtual Fighter shit out here. Bloody roar.
The first game came out July 7th, 1997. If you wanted to really, really shock the world, release a new one on July 7th of this year for the anniversary. It just would make perfect sense. This game would make you so much money. It would be put everywhere. I could see us hosting like just stuff for it to like just to throw it out there. Me and Banzai would literally run around our neighborhoods with Bloody Roar painted on our chest and the release date on our backs, yelling, "Go pre-order it now! Go pre-order it now!"
You release that, that's not the only thing that's going to be releasing, I'll tell you what.
On that note, I do believe we are spent.
I am tapped out.
And so I would like to thank you guys for coming on the podcast today on this beautiful cloudy morning. And not so much discussing Bloody Roar, but gushing and expressing our love towards the series and our desire to see it return in the best way possible.
Yes.
So thank you guys for coming on. I appreciate your time.
I appreciate you for having us on this. This was a very fun podcast for me personally.
This was amazing to have both of us on. This was the podcast
For the Twin Wolves to be on, yes.
I'm
Inspired
happy
by
you
Yugo
both-
himself.
I'm happy you both made it on. And so I'd like to reintroduce Loboberry Crunch
Ow!
and Banzai Wolfburger.
Banzai Wolfburger is out of here.
He's been Loboberry Crunch, and he's also been Banzai Wolfburger. And I've been Mick Whoopi Goldberg. And this has been the Bottom of the Pit podcast, where we look to the moon and swap our palettes. And we will see you on the next
The
one.
answer lies in the heart of battle.